I need someone here to help me out with this. What's your name, please, ma'am?
Rosie.
Rosie, do you know how to use a stopwatch, Rosie?
Yeah.
Come up here, would you please, Rosie? And watch your step here, please, Rosie. Here's your stopwatch. This is your start-stop button right there. And here's a little mark you want to kind of stay on. And here's your microphone right here. And don't start until I tell you to, then start right away, okay? So, please welcome one of our favorite comedians, Mr. John Cleese, to the Garage Door. Timekeeper, Rosie, John Cleese. She has a mark she has to stand on. She won't move over there. Okay. Now, I promised you that I would do a card trick for you.
Great. I love it.
I know, and we went through this, and you wanted to see some close-up, you wanted to see something small. But the problem is, John, that a deck of cards, although it's easy to get on camera, and is fine for you, is very, very small for the people sitting in the back, people sitting quite a ways back. And this is kind of a boring prop to use. So just to give those people something to look at while we're doing the card trick, I'm just going to go over here and grab another little prop, and then I'll be right back. So we'll just do that here. Watch your ass, Rosie. Thank you, Robbie.
This is the other guy.
This is Teller. This is my partner, Teller.
What was it?
John Cleese. Teller.
Teller.
John Cleese. Teller. And I'm going to do a card trick. And do not be uncomfortable. God forbid we should ever make anyone uncomfortable. Teller is not holding his breath now. As you can see by the bubbles coming up, the regulator in his mouth, Teller is breathing relatively comfortably through this scuba tank and will not actually stop breathing until the card trick proper begins. John, if you do one favor. Take the lock that Teller has there. Leave him the key, but take the lock. And feed it through the hasp and lock him securely in his underwater coffin of certain doom, if you'd be kind enough.
Okay. There we are.
Okay. And Teller's holding a key here. He's holding the key to the lock, and indeed quite literally to his life in his upstretched left hand, and has sworn on his honor as a gentleman that he will not relinquish that key into these supremely skilled hands. Find your card. Now, the tank was designed specifically for Teller. As you can see, there are metal bars that come down from the top that stop him from forcing his nose or mouth to the surface to breathe that glorious air that we too often take for granted. Now, for those of you who are trivia buffs, the world's record for holding one's breath on purpose is 4 minutes and 35 seconds and is held, as we all know, by the great Harry Houdini. Rosie, I've not forgotten about you. What I'd like you to do is stare right at Teller's lips. And the second that regulator comes out of his mouth, the very instant he can no longer breathe, just punch that button. Try to stay on your mark there. That's another part of your job. Just punch that button there, and then just make sure it's going up. So get ready, get your thumb on the button. It's going to happen very quickly. And John, if you'd be kind enough, just grab the hose there and wrench the regulator out of his lips, please. Boom, go. And Robbie, could we lose this, please? Thank you. Is it going there, Rosie?
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Don't push it more than once. What are you doing? Don't just keep pushing it. You have to push it just once and let it be going. Okay, yeah, you've got the date on here somehow. There we go. Let's just, let's just pretend we're starting right there, okay? That's 16 seconds. Little glitch, Teller, no problem. I've got a deck of cards for you here. Just examine that card, make sure there's nothing unusual about him at all. See
No, looks all right.
Hey, would you open the deck, please,
Yeah,
John?
give me that.
Okay, I get this
30
for you.
seconds.
Nicely done, Rosie. Nice. A little louder, clear than the mic. Just rip it open there. Yeah. And you might want to break the seal, too. Just make sure that hasn't been damaged at all. Just
It's genuine.
And then you want to pull the deck out there, John.
Okay.
And we'll just throw the deck on the floor. I mean, not the deck, but the box on the floor. And get the advertising cards and the jokers. Lose those. Jokers on the back, I believe, John. And then give the cards a thorough shuffle. And take your time shuffling, John, unless you have a shred of human decency anywhere in your soul.
1 minute.
Nicely done, Rosie. Right on it. Now, I have not touched the deck before now. It's my first time touching the deck. And, John, as you see, all shuffled there. There you go. Nicely shuffled, John. As you see, John, my hands are empty there. I'm just going to take the deck, and I will just fan it out and take any one card, please, John. Obviously, don't let me see it. Any one card? and then wait till my back is turned, and then hold it up so that they can see. Would you please? He's showing the card
1
around.
minute 30.
Nicely done, Rosie. Now, John, take this magic marker and write your name across the face of the card, the side of the card that's different from all the others. When you bring your name across there, John, please put the cap back on the marker, hand it back to me. And then hold it up so the audience can see your name on there, please, John. And I'm going to turn around now. Please conceal the card from me, John, if you would. Conceal the card from me. Good. And don't bend it, because, you know, if you bend it, you put a crimp in it. It's a little bit too easy to find. There
2 minutes.
Go. Nicely done, Rosie. Shove it on right in. And again, what are we at exactly now, please?
2 minutes 6.
2 minutes 6 seconds, Teller, and we be jamming. Now we're doing some magic. Now, John, I know your first name and your last name, so I'm going to use something different. I don't know your middle name. What is that?
Marwood.
Marwood. Marwood.
Family name.
Okay. Hold your hand out, please, there, John Marwood, please. Marwood. Okay, let me see. M-A-R-W-O...
2 minutes 30.
Nicely done, Rosie. W-O-O-D. And is that your card, John Marwood, please? The 9 of spades.
No.
Okay. No problem. Marwood, you say. Family.
Marwood.
Marwood. Okay, John.
Okay.
John Marwood. M-A-R-W-O-O-D. And is that your card, John Marwood, please? The Jack of Diamonds. Okay. Now, I don't. Nicely done, Rosie. I don't seem very worried, do I, John? That is because before the show, I put a card in my left-hand suit jacket pocket. Make it a little more interesting, John. On that envelope, please.
It says 6:33 p.m. And it has today's date.
So before the show even started, what I want you to do, John, if you believe what you read, is just rip open that envelope, pull out the card, not yet, verify that it's indeed your
3 minutes
card.
30.
3:30, your card, your name, and then loudly and clearly, yes, Penn, that's my card. Go. What are we at right now, Rosie?
3:37.
Okay, 3:37. Go ahead, nice and loudly. Yes, Penn, that's my card.
Yes, Penn, that's my card. Actually, it isn't.
No,
Does it matter?
Seriously, John, is it your card?
No, somebody's written Basil on it.
It's really not your card? You're not kidding?
It's definitely, I mean, I'll say
4
it
minutes.
if it helps.
I must have... Is there another card in here? I palmed the wrong card, is what I did, John. Here, just hold these for a second, John. Just hold these for a second. Teller, I palmed the wrong card. Teller, give me the key. Teller, give me the key. Teller, give me the key. Teller, give me the goddamn key. Okay, he's right. We made a promise. We're going to stick to it. Just hold your hand out, please. M-A-R-W-O-O-D. Damn it to hell.
4 minutes 30.
Thank you. M-A-R... You want to say 4:30?
Yeah.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Congratulations, Teller. You've broken Houdini's record. Let me get a running start on it. J-O-H-N-M-A-R-W-O-O-D-C-L-E-E-S-E. Oh, Jesus. Was it a black card or red card? Black or red?
It was black.
Black card. B-L-A-C-K. Okay, you had your name on it, right? It must be on the floor, John. John, it must be on the floor. Check out the cards. Should
I let him out?
See the cards? There are some back here. See any of the cards down here? Did you see that? John, did you find the card there at all?
Should I let him out, do you think?
What are we at?
5:20.
5:20. Let him out, John. Just
Let him out.
He'll just bob right up to the surface there. Just jiggle it. It's an English copy. Jiggle it.
Well, I don't think it's the right
What are we
key.
at?
5:40.
5:40? Yeah, screw it, John. He's brain dead. It's the wrong goddamn key, John. John, there's a... John?
Huh?
John,
6 minutes.
John, thank you. There's a... John, there's a rule. There's a rule in circus. That whenever someone is attempting a dangerous stunt, they themselves are responsible for their own rigging. So although the high wire may be set by roustabouts, it's always the walker himself that checks the final turnbuckles. So it was clearly Teller's responsibility to make sure this was the right key. And I don't think there's a court in the world that could blame you, John, even though you locked him in and took away his only air supply.
6 minutes 30.
I have a very important announcement to make. I would like to dedicate all the Channel 4 shows to be entitled simply The Unpleasant World of Penn to my ex-partner. Let's gaze once again on the face of the one true hero of our generation. Ladies and gentlemen, my ex-partner, Teller.
7 minutes.
And is that your card, John? The two of spades? Oh, two of spades. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Eventually, every act in Las Vegas, Nevada does some version of this trick, sawing a woman into halves. So we thought we would do our version to save you from having to see any other shows in Las Vegas. And it features a woman from our live show in Vegas, our fire-eating showgirl, Georgie Bernasek, right here. Georgie does all the hazardous duty in the Penn and Teller show. Watch the saw blade there, please. Now, after putting her in a cheap plywood box and filling her beautiful legs with splinters, we then add insult to injury and put these stalks around her here. Your hair out of your face there. Watch your shoulder there. This is the only trick in the Penn and Teller show that is right off the rack. You can buy this whole setup just like this from a magic dealer. The one change we made is the saw blade. The one that comes with it is really fake, cheap aluminum. We put kind of a nice, heavy steel blade in there. And you all set, Georgie? And give me a hand with this Teller. It's kind of heavy. And a little bit of acting, Georgie. Screaming, wiggling your feet, so on. Beautiful, beautiful. And then to show that she really is separated, we then put these blades in. And there you have it, Georgie and Bernasek, a woman sawn into halves right there. Now when you see real magicians do this trick, at this point, they start moving really fast. And they put the box back together really quickly, pull out the blades, have her stand up and get her off stage as quickly as they can. And the reason they hurry so is that magicians worry that this moment is the most vulnerable part of the whole trick. And they worry that if they let an audience stare at this moment for too long, they'll figure out how the trick is being done. We're okay with that. And the first thing you realize, it's based on a pretty flimsy psychological principle. You're not supposed to notice a change in height when someone goes from vertical to horizontal. Now, Georgie's a rather special case. Georgie's almost 6'3", so bring her on my side of the stage. I'm 6'7". You're not supposed to notice when she lay down, she shrunk right up to 5'10". But once you notice that, you start to realize that the tabletop is not as thin as you first thought. The trim is thin, but the black goes back in a wedge. And by the time it's under the box, it has plenty of depth to conceal that part of Georgie that's no longer accounted for. And the blade doesn't really come near her. Let's show you here. Give me a hand here. Tell her. Georgie, you can't even feel the breeze off that. Can you, Georgie? No. And it's completely safe. There's a metal rod in place that stops the saw blade from going too far. She's okay! She's okay! She's okay! Actually, she's not okay. Really not okay at all. There's some pathology there in the spine. She wasn't going to have any quality of life anyway. It was Teller's fault. It was Teller's fault. He's supposed to hold it back there. You know, a jury of my peers could never convict me.
Oh, man.
How you doing, man? I did get your hand wet, did I?
Nah, good job, I guess.
Blood on you?
I don't know what just happened. Wow! She's okay!
Thank you. Now magic trick is kind of about memorization, kind of about focus, and kind of about concentration. Now, memorization acts have been out of fashion for many, many years. We tried to make our version a little bit less totally cerebral by adding in a nail gun. And I hope you're all aware of how bad nail guns are. They're responsible for about 30,000 emergency room visits a year in the United States. And that's compressed air over there. And it's forcing out the nails with a great deal of power. Certainly enough power to go all the way through that board into another board and fasten them together for construction purposes. But I've thwarted that by putting the board on a metal table so the nails stick out a little bit. Now we're talking about memorization, and the trick looks like this. Now the nail gun is loaded right here, and it's loaded with what's called a string, which is two pieces of rigid plastic that hold the nails perpendicular, equidistant from one another. When you pull nails out of the string, whenever the nail gun comes to one of those spaces, it still fires the air and makes the noise, but it does not fire a nail. So all I have to do is memorize this sequence, and I can do this. That's the trick. Now you've noticed by now that I'm not just alternating. As a matter of fact, the pattern does not repeat for the whole trick. Now, if you've seen a memorization act in vaudeville, there obviously would not have been a nail gun. It would have all been done with numbers and words. The performer would have gotten maybe 40 single-digit numbers yelled out by the audience, memorized that almost random sequence, and then written it back perfectly on a chalkboard while reciting any Shakespeare sonnet chosen by the audience. And this is the exact same trick. Just like wire walking. It's the exact same trick if the tight wire is set 4 feet off the ground as if it's set 50 feet off the ground. And yet, if you add a little bit of danger... Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang. We're gonna add a little bit of danger to the bit that makes the whole show just a little more visceral, a little more exciting. Now, most memorization acts are magic tricks. They're lies. And we don't mind you knowing that, because Teller and I believe it is morally wrong to do things on stage that are really too dangerous. It makes the audience complicit in unnecessary human risk. Any doubts about this being a lie? I think that proves it right there.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you on the next one.